So it's blowing a gale, but we've got some really good prints here. Not too sure what you can see on the camera. There's a nice one there, one there. There's two animals here running close behind each other because we've got 8 prints in a cluster right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. The ground's quite firm there, so there's not a lot of impression, but there's enough to get a cast out of some of these. They're a little bit deeper. So I think we might be on the money here. 2 animals running along. Within the last 10 days, because we've had a heap of rain. So this was after that rain. And going along and heading up in the usual direction just out towards here. Prints from South Australia. Now these are all rather large. The ones on the left I'm talking about here. These came from an area known as Tea Tree Gully, and historically back in the 1970s there was an animal sighted up there in the very early 70s, late 60s, that people described as a thylacine that was nicknamed the Houghton Howler. Well, these prints here are from 2016, and as you can see by the scale there with the tape measure, they're rather large. The top one here in the left corner measures 8 inches from the tip of the middle toes there down to the base of that little nut at the base of the heel just there. And there clearly is a 5th toe that's off to a peculiar angle. Now, the reason why I think these are not dog prints, I don't know exactly what they are, but I don't think they're dog prints, is because of the wide splay of the toes here. You can see how they spread out. Now, it's well known amongst the science community that thylacines did not have webbing between their toes. So their front feet, the toes would splay out more like fingers in a hand, and they could grab the ground if they were on a funny angle or running fast rather than just running on the ground. So they dig their toes in like fingers. Now there's a dog print. You can see that the splay of the toes is much more confined and tighter. There is nowhere near the gap between the toe pads as with this one here compared to this. It's not quite as big, but that's a rather large dog print. I believe that was from a German Shepherd, that one. These are fossilised print casts from Kangaroo Island in South Australia, confirmed to be thylacine and donated to me very kindly by Dr. Aaron Kamens, who is an expert in the field of marsupial trackways. As you can see here, this silicon cast was taken from this mould, which is a representation of what he excavated on Kangaroo Island with his team when he was over there a couple of years ago. And they too have the large gaps between the toes. Again, I think this is a juvenile animal because it's only about 2.5 inches wide at best from the side to the side. But if I take that and I put it over here next to this, you can see the similarities. But if I put it next to a dog, you can see the differences. So we find these prints, and we have other members in the group finding these large 5-toed prints in just about every mainland state. We've got Laurie Walsh in WA finding them. We've got Glenn Rieberger in Queensland finding these large 5-toed prints, and I've found them in Tassie and South Australia, and there is also people in Victoria that have found them as well. These spore samples that we've collected over the years do count as some form of anecdotal evidence. Whether scientists wish to accept that or not is up to them. But when you have so many similarities right across the board from all over Australia, surely that is significant.